Good day and welcome back to Elementary 72 Gaming. So, in this episode, I actually intend to do a little bit more for my planning for getting my wolves up and running. So, there is a little bit that has to be done, I'm not going to deny that. And it's a little bit of a questionable choice to do it the way I'm about to do it. So, the first thing is I need to feed the wolves that I'm taming, and I'm actually going to have to take one wolf at a time across to the pens that I'm going to dump them in. I'm going to need to feed them, and then after they fed, I'm going to have to start the fight with the boss. Sorry. And while I'm fighting the boss, I also have to do a second thing, which is sorry, I got interrupted there while watching the wolf. I know that sign. Okay, so here goes. So yeah, this is where the problem's going to come in. I need to get the boss away from this altar, and I need to get it in a spot where I can actually fight it. And looking at this mountain, you can see the big problem. Everything goes downhill. I can't hide my wolves here; they'll just get instantly attacked by Muda. Um, right here where I cleared up, it's not good enough. Going down this way isn't good enough. So I have to do some crazy builds just to hide. Two more to go. Yeah, so I need to find a place here where I can set up a location for a fight. This is actually a ooh, that is a heavy fall. Anyway, this is a good spot to set up yet another breeding pen. Ah man, wolves. Okay, so this outer parameter is gonna stay. I'm actually just gonna make a wolf pen that doesn't have a floor, ironically enough. So I'm gonna make a massive pen. I'm gonna try and stuff as many wolves as possible here. But first I need my taming to complete on the other side. There's only one reason why I don't want this to be the main fighting base. If the fight has to come down here, I'm gonna lose my spawn point. There is no way for me to recover that loss. So I have to be very careful. Okay, so now I just need to grab some wood. I need 10 sticks. I need a little bit more than 10. I need 34. Certain things will stay at a base no matter what. I'm actually considering whether or not I should plot another fighting ground down there just to drag the boss in. This mountain is just way too steep. I don't have such a large foundation block. I might have to check up if any other creatures are tameable in this game. Oh. That's the way to go. One, two, three, four. This is a much better pen. Just looking at the inner size, I can tell you this is going to be much better for taming. And now the bigger problem is I didn't think of a roof plan. Okay. Now for my door. That will hold it. I can do it from the inside or from the outside. It makes no difference. I already suspected that something might go off. And looks like I am right that something is gonna go off in here. But it's not something which I expected, so let me just drop these. I'm not actually gonna leave the floor like this. Oh, wait. I just remembered something. One of these items has to come with me, even if I don't like it. provided that wolf hasn't chewed through. He should be really close to being fully tamed. Really. Silly wolf. Oof. Let me get out of here. So that second wolf is only 48% done. The other base is basically not even 10% done. When I have those two tamed, then I can take them over, start breeding them in there. Then comes the catch with setting up a second pen. Because if I keep all my wolves in one place, Muda can one-shot them. Which is what I don't want to happen. This is so difficult. And once I release the wolves, that's the end of it for me. The wolves will spread across the entire continent. Oh yeah, I just remembered that I have a whole lot of pigs to feed. Well, not a whole lot, I actually cull them because it got ridiculous. It was actually causing me to struggle to walk around. You'll see that the count is really low compared to what you would have seen in the last one. I think when I came through, I killed 37. And I only left 4 grown boars alive. So yeah, I really had a lot. And feeding them is the fastest way to get baby food for the wolves. I don't think there's anything down this way. There shouldn't be because there were so few babies on this side that I had to kill this last one. Yeah, that's it. So now there's so few. The last time I couldn't get through the corner. They were all packed in here, so I went inside, got my knife, and I just went on a car. This isn't the most crazy I've had of a farm on any of my bases. My most crazy one I think was 20 or so breeding at a time, and yeah, that just gets out of hand because eventually they started spawning outside of the base, and yeah, that just doesn't work out. Then I ended up taming a bunch of wolves, and the wolves get tamed a lot easier actually. It might be because I used locksmith. I think locksmith is a much better aiming item. And if I had a bigger team, to be honest, if I had 3 or 4 people playing together, I'd most probably be hunting throughout the plains already. I'd most probably have at least 2 teams running through the plains every few days. Yeah, so if you are a Valheim player such as myself, here's a quick question. Have you ever played with a team? Obviously, it's not a rhetorical question, it's actually a real question this time. So, yeah, have you ever played with a team? And how long after getting into a team did you stop playing with a team? So teams have a positive and a negative, just so that I mention this. With a team, you can get progress a lot faster. With a team, you also have access to a lot less in terms of resources. So, for example, if you're looking for iron, with the number of swamps that are across this planet, you might get lucky enough to get 3 swamps or 4 swamps, but regardlessly, you're going to end up with the same problem that everybody else has, and that is there's too little from just one swamp to get everybody fully scale mailed. And then you're going to need to get that same amount of metal again to get everybody in padded mail. And then you have to upgrade everybody's padded mail so they can fight bosses. And by the time all of that is done, it's just ridiculous time wastes. Then, for example, you see all these 4 pillars that I have everywhere across my base. You're going to come back with steel and wood, and you're going to replace each one of those columns with wood beams, and those are 2 each time. So that's, for all of those, just going to be 2, 2, 2 going up. Yeah, I did mess up. How much overweight am I? What is this annoying bird? I know it's not actually a bird, number one, just in case anybody's thinking. I don't even know the difference between a drake and a bird. A drake is supposedly an offshoot of a dragon, and dragons are not actually lizards. So if you think about it carefully, dragons are a scaled worm, or a worm, to put it in a different term, just to make it sound slightly different. But nonetheless, they supposedly some form of wraith-like creature. And when I say wraith again, that's yet again another type. They're spectral being. Nope, 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 that will kill me. So yeah, so if dragons are born from spectral creatures, then they aren't really that special. Okay, now the heavy building can wait. There is a reason why I'm not really going to mind the outside too much. That's because I believe that this is going to have a small hole in the center right in the end, and I'm going to be able to patch it up. So yeah, okay, let's talk about something else besides the game right now. Ironically enough, I'm getting a little bit frustrated with this building. Uh, this is even better. The wolves aren't going to be able to scale it, at least for the moment. The moment I'm heading back to the other side, I'm going to go back to my base, grab some items, come back, build it. Kidding me? Not all that glitters is gold. Sheesh, that is a bad idea. down, go down. Oh man, no, I can't tell. Come on, go down, go down, go down. All it takes is one piece down, the whole wall will start to fall. Gone. as it stands right now, sorry, as it stands right now, even wolves don't stand a chance against what I'm doing. You saw the Fenrir attack me earlier. It got slammed out by my abundance of stamina. Okay, so just something off topic since this is very grindy and very repetitive. Um, if anybody has anybody ever wondered if there's anything equal yet opposite to capitalism? And ironically enough, it's a capitalist system that can be used to reverse capitalism at any time. It's something that not many people would think about, but it's even more drastic than what we currently see in capitalism. It can actually stop the entire system and can revert it to deflation instead of inflation. Now, obviously, just saying that there, somebody is definitely going to say, how would things reverse in the inflation market? I thought things always inflate in price all the time. And you'd be partially correct if you said that. And that's why I'm going to give you the answer now. So, in any market, when it comes to capitalism, the end goal is actually what we call monopoly. It means taking care of all resources by one individual, basically. So you want to capitalize as much resources as possible. That's when you complete a monopoly. However, in the same system, there is a reverse monopoly system. So by committing a monopoly, first of all, you then undo all monopolies. So yeah, I know it sounds really stupid in that way of saying it. Nope, I don't want to fight him. Looks like I have to fight this ice golem. Frosty actually has an attack that can really do big damage to him. Unfortunately, it is one of the worst attacks to use from Frosty. I only have about enough health to survive halfway of a drop. Okay, so reverse capitalism. Sorry, I was in the middle of that when that golem decided to pick a fight and lost it. But nonetheless, reverse capitalism is this crazy system where you actually monopolize an industry and then you topple it. So you can get crazy rich doing it, right? This is just for reference. It's even more crazy rich than somebody like Bill Gates or even Elon Musk. They can't even compare. They'll never be able to compare with this type of crazy rich. And the reason is, imagine owning Elon Musk's assets at the same value and having that much money, but living in the 1990s. Yeah, that's how crazy this gets. You literally end up paying a decades old prices while living in the next century. So yeah, that may not seem crazy enough at this point, but it'll only get crazier as I explain it. So the first part of this craziness is you take over industry with a monopoly. Thereafter, you crash the industry, which is definitely something where everybody's going to be like, why would somebody who has that much money want to crash everything? Well, here's the reason. By crashing it, you're actually allowing yourself to gain even more resources. Now, the reason why you gain more resources isn't because you have more money or anything. So you take it up for maybe a year or 2 years, and you maximize your profit output from the first business. And say, for example, you start farming, for example. So farming has a cost, a heavy cost when it comes to fertilizer. If you spend too much on fertilizers, you're going to end up hurting your business, right? So that's what hurts a lot of farmers. And you can ask farmers, they can tell you it's a horrible game. Yes, they make massive amounts of money once or twice a year, and thereafter they in poverty themselves for the rest of the year. So it's not really as glorious as some people think for farmers. I know some people think farmers are billionaires. So, for example, let's start with farming for this particular craziness. So you'd start off with a farm, and your farm would, let's say, for example, make 100 million a year, which isn't a realistic figure. Trust me, farms don't make that. You make 100 million, and then the next thing you do is you move on to the next industry. Remember, one of the big things is that you must monopolize. You must have enough resources to monopolize. So you use that massive backing to crash the entire market around you. So you go in with the same price as everybody, you pull out your capital investment because that's what's the most important in this, ironically enough. And once you've reached the state where you have enough money to pull out from your initial investment, you pull it out and you start reinvesting it into the next industry. So remember, if you bought $100 billion worth of farms and you are now producing for the first year you made $1 billion, you've gained 100 billion because your return of investment, and you got $1 billion on the side. So you're going to take this 100 billion and you're going to invest it into the fertilizer industry because your whole idea is to crash your price, and by crashing your price you're actually going to make a massive profit. So you're going to start pulling down your price all the way down to a cost. Remember, you're capable of pulling out your investment plus $1 billion. So you're going to put it all the way down to just making $1 billion. So your markups are ridiculously low. You're selling so cheap people can't understand how you're doing it. And that's how you wreck the market. Sorry, how you wreck the market in the first instance. And then from there you go on with the same crazy strategy. It's actually similar to this game in some ways. And you end up with the next industry, so fertilizers for example, and you take over it. And you do the exact same thing to it. You make sure that you pull out that 100 billion again and you make a certain profit on the side, and then you crash it to that profit margin. So now these massive markets which you spent ridiculous figures on become insignificant. They're so worthless to invest in that nobody wants to invest in it. You now have the power of control for a reason that you don't want to have control. It's a worthless industry. But remember, it costs nothing to you. Your investment's out. You're making money like crazy. You're already worth twice what you started, and you haven't wasted a cent. So your next objective, as crazy as it's going to be, is to crash yourself again with the next one. And you're going to keep moving forward. So chemical industry, moving on to pharmaceutical, moving on to hospitals, moving on to whatever it is, and you just keep moving along the line. Eventually, you come to a point where your government is actually going to have a problem, because you know the taxation figures that they give for people within certain brackets must pay. So those figures are going to start to drop rapidly. The entire costing to look after their government, what they made in a year, all of a sudden, say for example, they require $3 trillion to look after the country. With your crazy drops that you're doing, it's going to go from 3 trillion all the way down to 30 billion a year. Now they have enough to last them for the next 10 years. They have an over abundance of resources. So all you've got to do is make sure that the prices are known for what you're offering. And once this happens, the government's now in a negative situation, on a negative, so it's a double negative for them. They need to now justify why they are overcharging people. And the only person who is safe from anything that can happen there is you. So this is called a reverse capitalism. And the person in the lead of this here gets money like no man's business. But as you can see right now, you aren't that rich. You have money, you've been making small figures, and as you keep going through sector by sector, you make tiny figures. They're so tiny that you might as well think that you haven't made any money at all. Right, just to be honest at this point. And as you move on from sector to sector and you destroy business after business, eventually you come to this point where your total investments are minuscule, right? That's the right word to use. And all of a sudden, all your businesses start to devalue. Remember, you invested 100 billion. You pull out 100 billion every time you crash a market. Now, obviously, there is a figure that you must reach in order to do it. So, for example, if you wanted to actually top Bill Gates and all of these crazy guys, you are going to have figures that are like half a trillion or something that you're reinvesting each time and pulling out. And it becomes more crazy the bigger the figure is, to be honest. But there is reverse monopoly. So eventually you come to a point where there is no value in anything. And anybody who's selling properties, so for example, like we currently have, people will sell a property for, who knows, half a billion, 10 billion, whatever the figure may be. Let's see, I need to get rid of 62. That would be 31. So no matter who they are, they just can't compete with the craziness that you've introduced to the market. The market is now unpredictable. It's de-escalating everywhere. All the big companies will start to shut down. Companies like Tesla and Amazon won't be able to keep it up. And you yourself, who has done this here, are also going to suffer the same thing. Your big franchises are going to shut down slowly, yet surely, and there is a way to keep a franchise going, ironically enough, in that situation, but it requires you to do the opposite, and that's to recover capitalism to its old habit, and you'd lose everything that you gain. Okay, let me just do this here. Nope, that's not what I want to take down. That's what I want to take down. So yeah, at that point, you've actually regressed inflation. And because of that, remember, you have 100 billion or half a billion, whatever your desired crazy figure was. And the moment this regression starts, you have this massive advantage over everybody else around you. And that advantage is simple. You have the highest amount of potential cash. Actually, you have seen a system similar to this. It had the potential to do this to the system. Provided the governments kept their grimy claws out of it. I have a very big disdain for governments because I've seen them prosecute people for no reason, and not very forgiving in that sense. just realized that I shouldn't have removed it because I'm going to be coming back here in a few seconds. Nope, I'm in the wrong spot. This mountain's really getting on my nerves. Cutting off your visibility throughout this entire stage is a bit overdone. It's crazy the types of things you can do with capitalism, ironically enough. There's even another few tricks that can be performed when you live in a capitalist society that even more unsavory than what I just talked about. And a lot of people would hate you if you did it. So reverse capitalism, I say that is just one way to do it. Another way is the most horrendous possible. Now, the only reason I don't mind mentioning reverse capitalism in that sense is the entire world gets reversed out of capitalism. You end up back to a stage where everybody's practically stinking rich. Most of your resources are just there for the minimum requirement. Everybody is just there for a minimum requirement, and it makes a lot of things really hard to do. Like education, lying to a person becomes super difficult. You can't teach a person with lies. You gotta be kidding me. Come, let's go. Okay, so every time I'm speaking about this here in the terms of why I respect it in some way, is it doesn't have any negative effects on society. It has negative effects for things like terrorism, um, global domination, monarchies, everything that we say we hate. Slavery hates systems like that. Ironically enough, um, there is a set of positives from it that even I have to admit that I can't see anybody going for, because those positives don't help everyone. They only help certain people. So yeah, here's the positives from a reverse monopoly. The entire economy gets devalued. So what this means is it's not devalued. The value increases. So $1, for example, right now might not be enough for you to get a Big Mac, right? Because I know that there's a crazy increase in burgers and things um, in America in their pricing. But with $1 in a reverse economy, you would have earned that at one point, this ridiculous figure, before everything crashes. And all the businesses will start to have this problem where they need to reduce their wages and everything really fast. So governments have to get involved to help businesses stay afloat, because everything needs to come down in price. Because everything has come down in price. They no longer can compete at that same level. And as they start doing this, they start offering everybody like 10 times lower wages. But you will get your last wage at its ridiculous figure. So, say for example, you were earning $1,000 and it reduces by 10 times, that means you're gonna get 100. But you can live on 50. And that one wage of 1,000 divided by 50, that's way more than what you're earning. In actuality, if you were earning 1,000 and the same cost of 50 would be something like 900, everything has to shrink at that ridiculous rate. The one thing that can't be controlled in this entire situation would be land. Those who own land will lose money beyond any means that you can imagine, because of the devaluation of everything. Those who own property will be basically crying that they had lost all of their value. And some people might say that's a good thing, but no, it's not the best of things to happen. Losing all their value is not the idea behind this. It's only for things to become equally valued. I'm supposed to check how far that wolf got tamed. Let me go back through and see where he is or she is, whatever it is. Then I can pull one by one wolves across that long distance, breed them up and see what's going on. %. I have to actually stay on this side for that to be a positive feedback loop. So yeah, I have to come back here eventually and spend some time. The reason for his slow taming is because I don't spend as much time as I need at that base. I obviously don't intend to do it now, but let's just go back for another feed of the pigs. And let's see, this isn't going to be enough if they bred at the rate that they should have. That's more than enough, and it should just cover it. Okay, I'm going to call this video now, and then I'll go and I'll spend my time sitting in my base and repairing everything as it gets damaged. So yeah, see you all in the next one. Till then, have a good day.